Welcome, everyone, to San Diego Sports Talk, the John Kentera Show. I'm very happy to have you with us. And, boy, we got a lot of big things going on with the John Kentera Show. Starting this coming Monday at 8 a.m., we're going to do our very, very first live show. So we'll be able to take questions. We'll definitely take a lot of questions. So we'll have our little chat box up on Monday, and we'll be taking questions from you great San Diego sports fans and really sports fans from all over Southern California. A couple of things. Number one, the John Kentera Show, San Diego Sports Talk, is on YouTube, and we would certainly appreciate if you're tuning in for the very, very first time, if you would subscribe. It's free of charge. Just subscribe, and we're working our way, and we're getting very, very close to 2,000 subscribers. So if you can help us out, we'd certainly appreciate that. Also, you can follow me on Facebook at John Kentera, and on X at Coach Kentera 44. But again, Monday going to be a really exciting show. Think about this. We're going to be wrapping up the White Sox series between the Padres and the White Sox. Gets underway on Friday night. And then the Padres are going to be off on Monday. So we'll start focusing in on the Los Angeles Dodgers. And with that, on Monday, the Padres will have 6 games left, 3 against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium and 3 games over at Chase Field in Arizona to conclude the regular season. So a lot of exciting things going on with San Diego Sports Talk, the John Kentera Show, and we're going to keep you in the know. But again, Monday morning, 8 a.m., we will be live for the very, very first time on the John Kentera Show on YouTube. Okay, Friday night, we're going to talk a little bit about the White Sox being in town. This is such a bad ball club. It's beyond awful. They have lost 117 games. Yes, 117 games. They've won 36 games. They fired one manager, Grady Sizemore, the former major leaguer, now skipper in the ship for the White Sox, Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner. I'll tell you how bad this got. I thought about writing Jerry Reinsdorf a letter and saying, you know what? I'd like to help you out a little bit. And you're going to laugh about that. But, seriously, this team is so bad. They need some desperate help, and they need somebody from outside the organization to pick things up for them. Somebody that's got a different view. I mean, I can't believe how bad this team is. 117 losses with 9 games to play. That's absolutely amazing. Really amazing. And we'll see. Hopefully the Padres are able to go in there and do some damage and win 3. Right now they start today 4 games back of the Dodgers. We're going to talk about the Dodgers and Ohtani here in a few minutes. But they're 4 games back. Hey, you know what? The Dodgers got the Colorado Rockies coming into Dodger Stadium on Friday night. They'll probably, take 2 out of 3 or maybe even sweep them. But if the Padres could sweep the White Sox, they'd go to Dodger Stadium on Tuesday night, 4 games back, let's say. Hey, you never know. You go in there, you take 3 from the Dodgers. It's doable with the Dodgers struggling with the pitching. And you take your chance, and then the Dodgers finish up with 3 more games at Coors Field. And you know how things can get wacky at Coors Field. I mean, I've seen stranger things happen. The Padres just need to put W's on the board and keep the pressure on the Dodgers, the way I see it. Okay, now Friday night. On paper, this looks to be an outstanding matchup. You got a left-hander in Garrett Crochet, who's 6-12 with a 3.78. 6-12, but he's playing for a team that's already lost 117 games. This guy was having just an incredible year. And now he's pretty much on an innings pitch count. Probably won't even go 5 innings. He's throwing about 60 pitches a game right now. And if the Padres can go up there and work him, they can get this guy out in the 4th inning, get to that bullpen, and then they can feast off that bullpen. But Garrett Crochet, tough left-hander. He's already pitched his career innings high, and now they're trying to slow him down. Padres going to go right-hander Joe Musgrove, 6-5 and a 4.23. And again, the White Sox, unbelievable. By the way, Padres opening up on Friday night. In interleague play this year, Padres have been pretty good at 24-19. And you take a look at the White Sox. They're 52.5 games back. 52.5 games back of the Cleveland Guardians in the AL Central. I mean, those numbers are just incredible. And then Saturday, you got Petco Park, right-hander Chris Flexen, 2-14 in a 5.09, going against left-hander Martin Perez, 4-5 in a 4.36. And with the Padres, Martin, we talked about in our last podcast, the guy's been fantastic. He's made 8 starts for the Padres. He's 2-0. has a 2.72 ERA, and the Padres are 7-1 in his 8 starts. He has been lights out. I mean, he looks like Martin Perez of about 6 or 7 years ago when he was dealing for the Texas Rangers. And then Sunday, the final regular season home game at Petco Park. You'll have a young 24-year-old right-hander Sean Burke, 1-0 and a 2.25 going for the White Sox. And the Padres will counter with Yu Darvish, 6-3 and a 3.21. And again, Padres off on Monday, then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, up at Dodger Stadium. All 3 of those games will be at 7:10. And then next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, to conclude the regular season, they'll be over there against the Arizona Diamondbacks. You know, I want to tell you about one of our sponsors, Grangetto's Farm and Garden Supply. Thursday afternoon, it dropped in my mailbox, my email. This week, and they do it every 2 weeks. You sign up for their newsletter, just go to grangettos.com, and they drop a little note in your email. This week, it was about citrus trees. And if you have citrus trees, you know, I'm a big avocado guy. Not that I grow avocados, but I love avocados. And I will tell you, if you have any type of citrus trees, you got bugs and some problems, things just aren't going the way you would like, sign up for the newsletter. You'll get all the information you need. But more than that, it's going to really teach you how to be a green thumb. I'm anything but a green thumb, but Escondido, Encinitas, Fallbrook, 3 great locations. They've been in business since 1952, over 70 years. I mean, talk about standing the test of time. Grangetto's has done that. They're great community members, very involved with Future Farmers of America. Go to their website, grangettos.com. And again, sign up for that email. And when you go to any of the 3 locations, whether it's Fallbrook, Escondido, Encinitas, make sure to tell the folks that are waiting on you, hey, you know what? I listened to Coach Kentera's podcast. He told me to stop by Grangetto's. Who knows? Maybe they'll give you a discount. You never know. But make sure to tell them Coach John Kentera sent you. Again, Grangetto's Farm and Garden Supply, grangettos.com, and sign up for that newsletter today. It was really interesting stuff. I enjoyed reading it yesterday. Okay, let's take a look at the standings as we get ready for the last home series of the year for our San Diego Padres. National League West, Dodgers sitting atop right now, 4-game lead at 91-62. With their win on Thursday in Miami, they clinch a playoff spot. They're trying to win the division for the 11th time in the last 12 years. The only year they lost it to the Giants back in 2021, and they won 106 games. Giants set a franchise record that year, winning 107. Padres at 87-66. Arizona 85-68. 2 games back of the Padres there in the division. So the Padres right now looking in good shape to hopefully to finish in second place. Giants were eliminated on Thursday. They're at 74-79, 17 games back, in Colorado at 59-94. Dodgers remaining games. They've got 3 against Colorado at Dodger Stadium. They're off on Monday. They got 3 at home against the Padres, and then they finish up with 3 at Coors Field. Okay, let's take a look at the National League Wildcard now. And the Padres sitting in great shape. Now, remember, if you finish number 1 in the wild card, you get the wild card series. Okay, you'll play the number 2 team. And right now, it looks like it'll be the New York Mets. Padres, 2 games up. Mets at 85-68. They're technically tied with Arizona, both 85-68. And then you got the Atlanta Braves, 83-70. I'm not sure Atlanta's going to make it. This New York Met team seems to be extremely well focused. Diamondbacks are hanging in there. Padres are playing great. But the New York Mets right now are just, they're playing out of their mind. They won 4 in a row. They won 7 of 10. And they just seem to be getting it rolling pretty good right now. Okay, I've got to talk about what I witnessed on Thursday. You know, I had a lot of flashbacks yesterday when I was watching the Dodger game. I had a late night on Wednesday, just working on stuff. We did our podcast. I went to bed late, and I'm always reading. I like to read, mostly sports, okay? I know that finds you to be surprised by that. But anyways, I was up, and, you know, the Padres had played that day, and, you know, I was looking at a bunch of different numbers. And so I took a little nap yesterday, and I realized the Dodgers were playing at 140. So I took a nap. I woke up, and I was kind of in and out, kind of dozing off. And I get up, And Ohtani had already stolen a couple of bases. So he got, the 50 stolen base mark. So then I wake up and I get to see his 3 home runs he hit. I mean, this guy is amazing. Before I go into his day on Thursday, I want to talk a little bit about Ohtani. Ohtani just, I mean, I don't even know how to begin to tell you this, but I remember back in 2017, I was watching 60 Minutes on a Sunday night, and they did this big deal on Ohtani, and he was playing for the Nippon Ham Fighters. And at that time, he was 22 years of age. They had won the Nippon Professional Baseball League the year before in 2016. And they're interviewing him, and the guy is amazing how he lives his life. But at that point in time, he's like 21, 22 years of age. His mom and dad were, pretty much still had him under their thumb. He lived in a compound. He was getting $1,000 a month from his family. His mother handled his finances. His mother actually handled his finances till he came to the United States. And then we know what has gone on since then. The guy's been so focused on baseball. And we think he's popular here in the United States. In Japan, every Dodger game's on TV in Japan. The guy can't go anywhere in Japan without being mobbed. In fact, when he was playing for Nippon Ham, he lived in this compound, and when he would go out into public, this guy's 21 years old at the time. He played 5 years. I mean, he came right out of high school and started playing professional baseball. And he had to let the team know where he was going to go. They had to have people, follow around, trail him and make sure he was okay. So this guy has lived under a microscope for a long period of time. And then he comes to the Angels, and we know, nobody knew anything about this guy, really. He's very private. Nobody even knew he had a girlfriend, let alone he ended up getting married and, didn't tell anybody he got married for a while and then announced who he married. And she's a former professional basketball player in Japan. A lot of secrecy with Ohtani. But the one thing that isn't secret is this guy loves the game of baseball. And I was listening to the Sunday night broadcast last week with Carl Ravitch, David Cohn, and I think it was Eduardo Perez, and Buster Olney's on the coverage. Buster used to write here in San Diego. And they were talking about when Ohtani wakes up every day. I mean, he's got a really regimented life. And, if he wakes up at 8 o'clock in the morning, everything is focused on that game that night, how he can be the best player in the world on that day. I mean, he's got this incredible focus. And how he goes diligently to get prepared to play. He very seldom takes batting practice on the field. He normally just sits in the cage. But everything is just regimented with him. Good teammate from what I understand. We're going to continue to find out more about Ohtani as he goes. But what he did on Thursday, the 50-50 thing is cool. And I know I'll be the first one to admit it. Last year when Acuna was doing, the 40-50 thing, and he ended up with over 70 stolen bases, a little bit different now. You can only throw over a couple of times, and I don't want to diminish either of these guys' ability because their ability is off the chart. But that's a little bit of a skewed thing for me. I mean, nobody in 200 years, basically. The game's been played for like 200 years plus, and nobody's ever done 50-50. In the second year that they have this rule where you can only throw over to first base twice, it's done. And again, I don't want to diminish it because this guy's this guy's 6'4", about 235, 240 pounds. He's a big guy. I've stood right next to him before. He's huge. Absolutely huge. But his game on Thursday, I've never seen anything like it. I don't know if I'll ever see it again. John Maffey from the San Diego Union-Tribune called me yesterday afternoon after the game. He goes, "Did you watch the Dodger game?" I go, "Yeah." I go, "The guy's amazing. He hit 2 balls into the upper deck." And I know the second one was off a position player. I don't care. I don't care if he hit the ball off of my 6-year-old grandson who's got a pretty good arm. I really don't care. I mean, this guy is flat out amazing. He's like a comic book character. He's a superhero. And the numbers he's putting up are just absolutely off the chart. But again, the first time I ever heard anything about Ohtani was April 9th, 2017. And then when I was working for John Boggs, the agent, we got this late night email to John saying, "You're one of the 3 agencies that's in the running for Ohtani." Well, they already kind of knew who they were going with because the agency that represents them had an office in Japan. But I did a bunch of work on Ohtani. I did a lot of work on Ohtani, his background, and his schooling, and the type of guy he is. So I find this guy fascinating before he ever came to the States, especially after watching that 60 Minutes documentary on him, big segment they had on him back in 2017. The guy's a freak. He's absolutely amazing. I'm just in awe of him. This game is hard. This game is really hard. There are going to be days where he strikes out 3-4 times. There are going to be times when he goes into a slump. But when this guy gets locked in, look how hard he hits the ball and how far he hits the ball. The guy's unbelievable. And if you miss the game on Thursday and haven't read the paper, or don't follow the Dodgers at all, I follow baseball. And if there's a good performance, I'm going to talk about it. I find it amazing. And the other guy that I want to give credit to is Skip Schumacher, the former big league player who spent time here in San Diego as a coach. He's the manager of the Marlins. He had an opportunity yesterday to walk Ohtani, and his team was getting beaten. And he's not going to be back there next year. He might be, with another ball. He's a good baseball guy. He's going to get another managerial job, no question. But he had the opportunity to walk Ohtani, but he goes, you know what? We got to go try to get this guy out. It was a great moment for baseball. My guy's out there trying to challenge him, go after him, and he got the better of us. He goes, as a fan, I loved watching it, but sitting in the Marlins dugout, it wasn't fun. But I give Skip Schumacher a lot of credit. A lot of managers, even if they were down, they'd have thrown water on it and just walked him. But he would have robbed not only the fans, and there weren't many, a little over 15,000 at Lone Depot Park to watch that. And I know in 20 years, there'll be 100,000. Oh, yeah, I was there that day. Ohtani went 6 for 6 with 3 homers and drove in 10 runs. But Skip Schumacher loves the game of baseball. He respects the game of baseball. And I'll be honest with you, I always liked Skip Schumacher. I knew he was a big listener to my radio show. When he'd drive down from Orange County, he was coach with the Padres. Good guy, listened every day, like Bob Melvin did, like most of the guys did. But I gained even more respect for him because he knows the way the game's played, and he was going after it. And if it was a tight game, he'd have walked him, and nobody would have said anything. But it was a blowout, and he gave Ohtani that opportunity. But really, Ohtani, he's almost like a superhero. He really is. Here's his day on Thursday to get to 50-50. He was 6 for 6. He had 2 doubles, number 33 and 34 on the year, 3 homers, number 49, 50, and 51, 2 stolen bases to give him 50 and 51. He drove in 10 runs. Now he's driven in 120 runs this year. The previous club record for home runs was 49 in 2001 by Sean Green. And by the way, Sean Green, a good guy. Still lives in the Southern California area. Good guy. I remember interviewing him a couple of times when I was doing the Padre postgame show. We used to actually interview the visiting team. If they beat the Padres, we'd interview the visiting ball club. And we had some great interviews over the years. And I think, people that love baseball, they want to hear from baseball people. And, not only that, it kind of educates baseball fans. For me, man, I love hearing ball players from other teams speak. I like to find out, everything about what's going on in the game. I love the game of baseball. I always have. So far in the year, Ohtani's hitting 294, 376 on base percentage, and a 629 slug. Guy, seriously, he's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now the only thing, I'm kind of wondering if Dave Roberts and Ohtani are going to try to slow down a little bit. And what I mean by that, they've already qualified for the playoffs. I don't know if Ohtani is obviously going to play and he'll still hit. But if I were the Dodgers, I'd be a little concerned about running him the last week of the regular season. You don't need him to, pull a hamstring, twist an ankle, twist a knee, slide. And he slides really well. I mean, he slides the customary bent leg slide, pop-up slide, rather than going head first and exposing your fingers and your shoulders and your face and everything else on your body. But I'd kind of slow him down. If I were the Dodgers, I wouldn't want him to get hurt the final week of the regular season. But enough about Ohtani. Let's talk about one of our other sponsors, a great sponsor, YourReliableHomeBuyers.com. Comprehensive real estate services. Reliable Home Buyers offers a full spectrum of real estate services, buying, selling, financing. Hey, if you need to sell your house quick, Get online right now to yourreliablehomebuyers.com, and they can get you cash. And, a lot of young families, they buy a small house, get equity, and then they want to sell it and they want to move up, kind of the building block effect. And it's a great strategy if you can do it. It's a great strategy. But again, give yourreliablehomebuyers.com, give them a call today at 858-422-4116, 858-422-4116. You can visit them at yourreliablehomebuyers.com. Expertise and reliability with 23 years of experience in the real estate market. And make sure when you give them a call, you tell them Coach John Kentera sent you. Josh Messiah, who I worked with for a number of years in the radio business, has been involved with this, and they've done an incredible job. So, again, yourreliablehomebuyers.com, that phone number 858-422-4116. All right, talk a little college football. Southern California Aztecs off this week. Coaches are out recruiting. Keep recruiting, and recruit hard, and sell the Pac-12. Sell the Pac-12. Aztecs 1-2 off this week. Coaches out recruiting. Next game Saturday, September 28th. Week from Saturday, they go to Central Michigan to take on the Chippewas. USD 2-0 on the road Saturday at Grand Forks, North Dakota to take on North Dakota. The Fighting Hawks are 2-1. USD a bye last week. They're 2-0. North Dakota powerhouse. Football program. They lost at Iowa State first game of the year 21-3, but they won their last two. USC, and this is a game I'm looking forward to. In fact, the USC and UCLA games I'm looking forward to. I don't think UCLA can beat LSU, but USC can certainly beat Michigan at the Big House. That game's going to kick off on Saturday at 12:30. USC 2-0, Michigan 2-1. Trojans a 5-point favorite in the Big House. Oh, that would be beautiful to see a Southern California team playing a part of the Big Ten. Big Ten game. Think about this. This is a Big Ten. This is a conference game for USC going against Michigan. I got to keep reminding myself of that. And then UCLA playing a non-conference game. They're 1-1. They won in week 1 in Hawaii. They had to come from behind 16-13 last Saturday at the Rose Bowl in their Big Ten opener. They got smacked in the face by Indiana 42-13. Saturday, they're going to be at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge to take on the LSU Tigers. LSU 2-1 last Saturday. They won on the road, had to come from behind and beat South Carolina 36-33. LSU, a 22.5-point favorite. Wow. We'll see what happens. And Sunday, not going to spend a lot of time today on the National Football League. Maybe after baseball season's over, we'll get into that a little bit. But Sunday morning, Chargers on the road taking on the Steelers. Both teams 2-0. Steelers a 1.5-point favorite. The over-under on that game is 35.5. Justin Fields been quarterbacking. Russell Wilson still trying to get healthy. Be an interesting game. Chargers pretty good. They're pretty good. Even though Denver is 0-2, when this all works itself out, it'll be interesting to see if the Chargers can end up in second. I think Denver's still going to get this thing turned around, because I predicted, obviously, the Chiefs would win the division. I had the Broncos finish in second, the Chargers third, and the Raiders fourth. But the Raiders, they got the one win already. But the problem is that Denver Broncos have already are 0-2. But they got a young quarterback in Bo Nix. We'll see where it goes. And then Saturday afternoon, SoFi Stadium, 1:25. You got the San Francisco 49ers, 1-1. That was a rough one last week for them against our old buddy Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota. They lost. 49ers lost on the road. No Christian McCaffrey, no Deebo Samuel. A good chance George Kittle's not going to play. But the Rams, no Cooper Kupp, no Puka Nacua. I would think the 49ers would win, but you never know. But this is a very critical game, really, I think, for both teams. Well, it definitely is for the Rams. They're 0-2. 49ers, everybody expects them to get back to the Super Bowl. They're 1-1. So there's your NFL. Okay, we got a coach's mailbag today. And we're going to start off with Melanie in Oceanside. Coach Kentera, I sure miss your daily radio show. Well, thank you very much, Melanie. I appreciate that. My question, how do you think the Padres will handle the catching situation during the playoffs? That's a pretty good question. I don't think Luis Camposano is probably going to come back up. Now, let me state this. In the playoffs, right now, the Padres, on September 1st, they were able to go up to 28 players. Well, come playoff time, you go back down to 26. So they're going to figure out their roster. Now, the one thing about the 26-man roster is you can't have more than 13 pitchers. And I think for a 3-game series, I really don't think you need a full 13 because you're going to take, your 2 starters of your 5-man rotation. 2 of them are going to go in the bullpen. So you're going to have long men there, and that can bridge the gap. So it'll be interesting, not only for the Padres, but how everybody in the wild card round stacks their roster. Now, and what I'm saying, if you ended up going only with 12, maybe you bring Camposano back up and it gives you a little flexibility to pinch hit for a guy like Higashioka. And then you still got, 2 catchers available. You hate to pinch hit for your catcher and put your next catcher in the game, because if he takes a foul tip, now who's catching? Jake Cronenworth? So that's going to be interesting. Elias Diaz has not swung the bat yet. And he's got another week, and they got to get him some work. But he hasn't swung the bat like he's capable of. And Higashioka, he's a 220, 230 type hitter, but he's had a big year. He hit 16 home runs, basically as a backup catcher. And, he's gotten significant playing time because Camposano was hurt, and he was producing. He got a couple of those hot streaks. But that'll be interesting. But I would think it'd be Higashioka and Diaz. And if in the first round they wanted to go with only 12 pitchers, maybe, just maybe, they have Camposano. I saw Camposano on Wednesday night, went 4 for 5. So maybe he's starting to find his stroke a little bit. Tommy and Ramona. Coach Kentera, I really miss you on the radio. Have you talked to AM 760? Yeah, I've talked to AM 760. Actually, the people over there, one of the ladies that's in charge, I'm a big fan of hers. Her name is Mary Ayala. I got a lot of respect for Mary. She's a true pro. At this time, there's no openings. I would certainly, if Mary called, I'd certainly take her phone call. But yeah, I've talked to them. And I think there was some interest there. I still think there's probably interest, but we'll see where that goes down the road. But you know what? I love this. And it's really freed my life up a great deal. I really look forward to doing these podcasts. They've been very fun. And with the one Monday, again, if you're just tuning in, Monday, we're doing our very, very first podcast live at 8 a.m. And we'll be able to take your questions, which I'm all about. I mean, I'm a talk show host that truly cares about his listening audience. I want to hear what you have to say. So, Tommy, hopefully you'll tune in. But he had an additional question. The other question I have, with the Clippers G League team moving to the new arena in Oceanside, have you talked to them about broadcasting their games? No, I haven't. I heard they're going to have their games on television, which is really exciting. I actually saw their court. I saw a picture on Facebook yesterday, and the court looks great. I mean, I'm looking for. I used to go to a lot of those San Diego Clipper games when I was in college. I was playing at USIU, and our coach used to get us tickets. He knew a bunch of the folks with the Clipper organization, and we would go down there. World Be Free, Randy Smith, Swen Nader, Bill Walton. When he was healthy, he played a little bit. I remember us changing our locker room. We were changing clothes in the same locker room with Daryl Dawkins and Julius Erving in the Philadelphia 76ers. That was really cool. So I'm looking forward to G League. I love basketball. Everybody knows I'm a big Lakers fan, but I'm excited about going to the new Front Wave Arena. I know the Sockers are going to play there. I think they've got some other teams they're talking with right now, but the Clippers G League team, they're going to have so many great events. Phil Salvaggio, who was the visionary for that, he was my boss when I was the vice president of the organization for the Sockers and general manager. And they spent over $85 million. It's going to be really cool. And, I've seen pictures. I haven't been to the arena yet. I'm very much looking forward to it. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to going up there and watching some basketball. That's going to be fantastic. Rich in Tierra Santa, I have always enjoyed your work. I wanted to find out, do you still coach players in baseball? Well, Rich, what I do is I do a lot of mentoring of ball players. I'll go out and work with players in cages. I don't have a cage at my home. or a pitching mound. But, if people contact me, I do go out and I'll work with players. I don't really like to get locked in. There was once upon a time where I worked with, over 40 players a week. And I worked with them for anywhere from a half hour to 45 minutes. And that was years ago. And that's a lot of work. But do I work with players? Yeah, I work with a couple of professionals right now. Work with them on their hitting. We talk about the mental side of the game because the mental side of the game is so important. But no, I do work with kids. And, really, I work with baseball players. I know a lot about softball pitching. At one point in time, I worked with 43 different girls one year, giving them lessons, and had some CIF players of the year over the years. I had a little bit of a softball background. And the other thing that I can do, and I was really self-taught, was shooting the basketball. I was a good shooter when I played high school and college basketball, but I became a good shooter because of hours and hours of work. So, I feel very comfortable coaching hitters, pitchers in baseball, softball pitchers. And if a young man wants to learn how to shoot the basketball correctly, I do that. But I'm also really big on trying to help kids go to college, kind of educate their families, their moms and dads, on how the system works. And it's very similar, really, whether you're a soccer player, baseball player, basketball player, volleyball player. It's very simple. You got to get schools to come out and evaluate your athlete. And once they come out and evaluate the athlete, it comes down to a business decision. But, I do a lot of that because folks, they want to try to get their kids scholarship if they have, some athletic ability. So, yes, I do work with athletes still to this day and try to do the very, very best for them. I'm all about, helping young athletes. Okay, I wanted to share some numbers with you before I say adieu and kick you off to the weekend. And again, Monday, we got a big live show, 8 a.m., folks. Tell your friends. Padres are going to start Friday night at 87 and 66. At Petco Park this year, they've really improved. Remember, at one point in time, they were under 500. They're now 42 and 36. Their road record have been spectacular on the road all year long. They're 15 games over 500 at 45 and 30. Month of September, been great. 10 and 5 right now. Since the All-Star break, best in baseball, 37 and 17. They're 9 and 2 in extra inning games this year. They're 11 and 5 in rubber games. They're 13, 10 and 3 in home series this year. With 9 games left, 4 games back of the Dodgers, a 2-game lead in the wild card. And again, they finish at number 1 in the wild card. They've got the wild card series at home. And with you great fans out there, it's going to be outstanding. I mean, nobody wants to come to Petco Park if you're a visitor. Nobody wants to come to Petco Park. The players don't, the manager doesn't, the organization doesn't, and their fans don't. Because you guys, you fans gobble them up. It's been an incredible year in San Diego. And this team is good enough. This team is good enough to get to where we want them to go, to where we can eventually have that parade down Harbor Boulevard. I don't know if I could contain you know what? Padres win the World Series. I have no idea how I'm going to react. I have no idea. I know I'll probably cry because they've been my team since they were in the Pacific Coast League. And I was a little boy laying at home listening to Al Coupe call a game on a ticker tape from Tacoma. And I thought maybe he was at the game, but he was reading it off a tape. But I was just a little boy. And then the Padres came into existence in 1969. I was at the very first game. My brother and his wife took me to the very, very first game. The game started at 8 o'clock. I've lived and died Padre baseball my entire adult life, really, since I was, basically 10 years old. So the way this team's playing right now, they can beat anybody. Their pitching staff has really come together, getting Joe healthy, getting Darvish back, along with Michael King, Dylan Cease, Martin Perez, the bullpen. There's no reason this team can't, I'm not going to say make a run. They can make a run through the entire damn playoffs and win the damn World Series. They're that good. In this last series where they took 2 out of 3 from Houston, that's the way the games are going to be, man. They're going to be tight. You got to find a way. And Mike Schilt, give Mike Schilt credit. And we're going to talk more about Mike Schilt and AJ Preller next week on the program. But give Mike Schilt credit, man. They're doing things now we haven't seen a Padre team do in years and years and years. Move runners along, laying down sacrifice bunts. You know that they have 22 bunt base hits this year? That's outstanding. I mean, everybody in the lineup is contributed. It's the next man up mentality. The bench, been outstanding. I'm going to talk more about the bench because everybody knows I love veterans coming off the bench. And people used to, kind of mock me for that. But hey, is it paid off? Hell yeah, it's paid off with Solano and Peralta, Higashioka when he was coming off the bench. They've gotten great contributions off the bench this year, getting the job done. Okay, reminder, tell a friend Monday morning, 8 a.m., our very, very first live San Diego Sports Talk, John Kentera show. We're going to be taking your questions, and I'm excited about it. I love getting questions from you great people out there. I have a lot of respect for the knowledge in my listening audience. And again, you can follow me on Facebook at John Kentera. You can follow me on X at Coach Kentera 44. And again, San Diego Sports Talk, John Kentera show on YouTube. Let's hope the Padres have a great weekend against the Chicago White Sox. And then Monday morning, 8 a.m., live broadcast. We'll get you ready for that Dodgers series that starts on Tuesday night. It goes Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then the Padres finish up over in Arizona next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Until Monday morning at 8 a.m., have a very happy and safe weekend. Talk to you Monday morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.